From ninja stealth to mind-bending mixed reality, VR is undeniably heating up in anticipation of Quest 3. Hey everyone, Cas here, fresh from our expedition at Gamescom. Many now see it as the world's biggest gaming event, especially with E3 unfortunately no longer in the picture. We got an early look at PowerWash Simulator VR, and I even got to pet my wolf companion in Arashi. There's an upcoming MOBA-style game, other intriguing titles in the pipeline, one even reminds me of Super Smash Bros, and so much more. Today I'll share sneak peeks of what's on the horizon for Quest 3 and the future of VR gaming. So let's get started and join me beyond reality.
This is Gamescom!
First, we had the chance to dive into Arashi Castles of Sin Final Cut, and big thanks to Skydance Interactive for sponsoring this part of our video. Arashi gives you the ultimate shinobi VR experience, with a standout feature being your wolf companion Haru. Not just a cute sidekick, Haru is pivotal in combat, and yes, you can pet him. This isn't the first time we've seen Arashi. It launched on the original PSVR in 2021, but now it's set to arrive on Quest, PSVR 2 and PCVR this fall. With the outdated PSVR 1's tracking, Skydance needed to revamp the game with revamped controls, and while they were at it, we also got improved visuals, updated enemy and boss behavior, and tons of quality of life features. The game immerses you in feudal Japan, casting you as a ninja up against the 6 Oni of Iga, terrifying bandits wreaking havoc. Our demo had us sneaking around, mastering katanas, blocking attacks, and strategizing with Haru. Battling one of the Oni bosses was a highlight, though I did spot some visual artifacts, likely remnants from the PSVR 1 version. However, the game is still getting improved, so this game looks set to impress upon release. After our shinobi adventures, we dove into the vibrant world of Max Mustard, brought to us by Toast Interactive, the creators of Richie's Plank experience. Even in my short demo of about 5 minutes, it immediately took me down memory lane, echoing vibes of early VR platformer Lucky's Tale and the standout Astrobot from PSVR. Max Mustard is shaping to be a delightful family-friendly game. You team up with the brilliant inventor Max on a mission to reunite cute mud pups with their families. But be prepared, a twist awaits as a friend unveils a deep secret. The studio describes Max Mustard as a modern VR platformer with moments of nostalgia, meaningful upgrades, first-person interactions, and gameplay that keeps you wanting more. It's packed with 4D levels, 4 boss battles, 8 upgrades, and a playtime of about 4 hours. While that's pretty short, I do think it's going to leave a lasting impression. Keep an eye out for this game, which is set to release early next year. Talking about platformers, here's a game I've been playing for a while now and I'm super excited about. Polyarch, the creators of the Moss series, has unveiled gameplay for Glass Breakers Champions of Moss, a new 1 vs 1 MOBA-inspired real-time battler. In Glass Breakers, you select 3 champions from the Moss world, each with unique abilities. This sets the stage for strategic face-offs with rivals, where the main goal is to break your opponent's glass, which can be quite a challenge, especially against real players. And there's a catch: you won't know your opponent's champions until battle commences. You can battle friends in private or match up with similarly skilled players in the community, and after each battle, you can unlock cosmetics for your characters. It's super cute. Fans of Moss will adore the familiar art style and beautiful settings. I've been playing this game for a while and I find it so addictive. My only hope is for an expansion of maps soon, given there's only 1 map to play, which might get repetitive soon. Nonetheless, as it's free, there's really no downside to trying it out. It's available in early access now on Quest's App Lab, plus if you play between now and September 4th, you can take advantage of a bonus XP event to earn extra rewards. We also got a sneak peek at the upcoming Smashed Reality mode for Smash Drums by Potemworks SAS. Smash Drums is a rhythm drumming game and the game itself isn't new, but this free mixed reality update exclusive to Quest feels like a whole new experience. The gameplay vibe, Think Guitar Hero meets drums. What's special is that with this MR mode, your full drum set is as portable as your headset. This means you can play your drums anywhere you fancy. The Smash Reality mode also takes advantage of Quest's scene capture tools, allowing players to dynamically destroy stages like rock arenas, volcano craters, and even the moon. Here, you catch a glimpse of me tearing up Gamescom, and I must admit, it was a blast in MR, pun intended. Smash Drums is already out on Quest and Pico, and this free MR update is set to launch in the next few months after its closed beta phase. And for the rock enthusiasts, there are upcoming paid DLCs featuring legendary rock bands to look forward to.
Hey, welcome at Gamescom Day 3.
Going to Gamescom, one thing became evident. The upcoming Quest 3 headset isn't going to be marketed as just a VR gaming headset anymore. I think it's going to focus heavily on its mixed reality capabilities, which can have its pros and cons, which I'll explain a bit more in just a bit. But one pro is that it can be a lot of fun, and the next demo has proven that to me. From Soul Assembly, creators of the Drop Dead VR series and Warhammer 40k Battle Sister VR, we got a first look at Drop Dead: The Cabin Home Invasion. This is a free MR mode as well, and it's also specifically crafted for Quest 3's release later this year. If you're on top of Quest news, you might remember that it was highlighted in Zuckerberg's MetaQuest showcase too. What sets this MR mode apart is the spatial customization. It lets you map your space, aligning in-game elements like windows and doors to your real-world walls. The result? It feels like zombies are actually invading your home, and I didn't think that it would be that much fun to have an apocalypse at your house. The experience feels lifelike despite its cartoonish graphics. The devs think this mode is perfect for get-togethers or parties, and I think so too. Launching in October, it's accessible on Quest 3, Pro and 2. I previewed it on Quest Pro, but now I'm even more excited to see what this looks like on Quest 3. You need to buy the full game Drop Dead: The Cabin to get access to this MR mode for free. As a little bonus, I've got a 25% discount code from the developers, which you'll find in the description below. Diving back into VR, I demoed PowerWash Simulator VR by Dreams. This calming simulator, which has garnered massive popularity as a flat-screen game, is making its VR debut on Quest. Venture into the quaint town of Mockingham in VR as you power wash away dirt from various surfaces, from patios to vehicles. And for a social touch, you can join friends online in the same shared space. My demo involved cleaning a huge theme park, and the gameplay was smooth with a variety of power wash attachments to experiment with. The beauty of the VR version, of course, that you have freedom in your hand movements over traditional keyboard and mouse setups. In essence, it's everything you would expect, but with the added VR immersion. While I typically gravitate towards adventure type of games, my short experience with this game felt truly satisfying. I also had a chance to experience this interesting upcoming game called The Gaslers, a VR shooter full of diesel-fueled chaos. Set against the backdrop of Gingo, you ride an epic train ride, try to craft the ultimate weapon, and shoot, block, and dodge your way through hordes of crazy enemies. Your end goal? To reach the Temple of the Machine God. It is an on-rails arcade shooter enriched with a roguelite-inspired encounter system. The levels are procedurally generated, so no two playthroughs are alike. I'm not typically a fan of on-rail shooters, but this game took me by surprise, because the Borderlands-like graphics and animations look really good, even on mobile hardware. It seems like an ideal game for quick sessions when you have a few moments to spare. Get ready for Gasless release on September 14th across various platforms including Quest, PSVR 2, Pico, and Steam VR. So I tried a bunch more promising games, but due to NDAs and embargo restrictions, I am limited in what I can say right now. However, I have talked with the developers about what teasers I can offer, so here's a sneak peek. First, I was particularly taken with Vampire the Masquerade Justice from Fast Travel Games. It's the first time we can assume the role of a vampire, even engaging in blood-sucking. I'll refrain from giving away too much for now, but stay tuned, I plan to release a gameplay video shortly after the embargo lifts this week. On the international front, noteworthy titles are emerging from Korea and Japan. Stoic Entertainment is in its final stages of launching a tank arena battle game with a horror game also in the pipeline. Now, fans of anime-style games might be familiar with My Dearest, who are known for Tokyo Chronos and Discronia. The Japanese studio showed me a multiplayer VR game that reminds me a lot of Super Smash Bros., so keep an eye out for them. On another note, Holonautic, the creative minds behind Hand Physics Lab, showed me a mixed reality game that reminds me of Worms. Bonus points if you remember that game. Without giving too much away, Chary and I can vouch for its entertainment value even at an early stage. I'm sorry I can't say much more than this, but at least now I could bring you with me a little bit. Now, in wrapping up my Gamescom experience, I noticed that many games that I tried there were still in early development. Also, last year, Pico had a huge booth, but this year, none of the VR hardware companies had a big presence. I'm pretty sure this is the industry holding its breath in anticipation of the Quest 3 release. Interestingly though, there was a lot of VR games. Just a few years ago, spotting VR at gaming events like these was rare. Now, they're a common sight, albeit spread out in many halls. I do think it underscores how mainstream VR has become. I don't think we're there yet, like it will be the icing on the cake if Gamescom ever decides to dedicate an exclusive big area just for VR enthusiasts, so it will be easier to find VR stuff. Hopefully they'll somehow see this video. I don't know if they will. Another interesting thing was that we saw an unmistakable rise of mixed reality apps. The VR industry seems to be heading that way exclusively, and I'm very interested to see what developers will do even more with this tech. But I would love to hear from you too. How do you feel about the industry heading towards MR? And from my list, which games are calling out to you the most? Let me know down below. I personally think this is the calm before the storm, so subscribe if you haven't yet, because I'll be extensively covering Quest 3 and other exciting content in the near future.